Happy holidays, listeners, and welcome to the ECPPS Podcast. And with me, as always, is Superintendent Dr. Keith Parker and Board Chair Ms. Angela Cobb. Thank you both for joining us here today for today's show. Should be a fun show. We have a lot to talk about.
Thank you for having us, Clay. Glad to be back.
Yeah. So happy holidays to the both of you. This is the holiday time, and I do want to kind of pick your brain a little bit and see, especially now, what are you thankful for this holiday season?
That's a great question. Thankful for a lot of things. I think it is, we take these times during the holidays to step back, to pause, and to really think about what brings us joy and what brings us gratitude. It's something we should do all year. Yeah. We don't do a good job at that, but family is something that really does come to mind. And one of the things that we have stressed to our teachers and our staff is, at the end of the day, we're all going to retire one day. We're all going to leave our profession one day. The season's going to change, but at the end, the people that'll still be with you are your family. So, really just reflecting on gratitude for my family and being able to spend some time with them, and that's certainly something I'm thankful for. And then I'm also thankful for the hardworking educators in the school system and everybody in our community that really is working very hard to make a difference, from first responders to elected officials. We've got a lot of really good people in this city and county that care about our community, and many of whom never get recognized. Yes. So for those ones that are working to keep us safe and to make Elizabeth City a great place to live, I'm thankful for them.
Yeah, I love that. Board Chair Cobb, I want to hear what you're thankful for this holiday season.
So during this holiday season, especially over Thanksgiving, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on times gone by. I actually have been lucky enough to have my daughter home for Thanksgiving for the first time in about 4 years. And we have spent quite a bit of time going through old videotapes, getting them ready to be digitized and watching family memories. And one of the resounding things that stuck with me is that I'm very blessed, as are many in our community, to have a really strong foundation that I've developed my life on. And that has been because of family, but it's also been because of my education. Mm-hmm. I'm never keep quiet the fact that I'm a product of this school district. I went through all of my education years through ECPPS, graduated from Northeastern. And when I look back at how I became who I am, my family played the most important role, but school was right there in the top three because it really developed me as a person. And I was lucky to have such strong role models and people that really cared about me and educators as I went through my years. And so I've thought about that a lot. And then I look at today and I look at all of the things that our educators face, their parents, their guidance counselors, their providers of food or, thoughtful words. And it's not an easy thing to be an educator right now. And our educators do it with heart and grace. And I'm really thankful for that because they're impacting the future of our community just like I was impacted all those years ago.
Very true. We have a lot to be thankful for this holiday season, so thank you both for that. Obviously, when we come together, we always talk about what's taking place at the recent board meeting, and there's so much that takes place at the board meetings. They're always entertaining, always information that the people need to know. First, I want to start off with a resounding and a wonderful performance by the Northside Elementary Orchestra and Choir. Mr. Danny Tate does a great job with them, and it seemed like, Dr. Parker, you enjoyed the performance also. Talk a little bit about what he is doing with the orchestra and choir. They sounded so good.
Well, so proud of Mr. Tate and the work that he does with our young people. Danny is just an exceptionally talented musician, a great person, a great educator, and he not only works with students at Northside, but he provides lessons to students. He does a lot of work at Arts of the Albemarle. Actually, our micro school has a partnership with Arts of the Albemarle where they are getting access to theater and music lessons. So, Danny really just does a lot to promote the musical arts at a young age, and he's just done a tremendous job. So one of the things we've tried to do during this holiday season is highlight our musical programs at the board meetings. And so we will have, at the December 15th meeting, we will have the Pasco County High School band that will be playing some holiday songs, and we will also have the J.C. Sawyer Choir, which will be there performing a selection as well. So just really excited to showcase some of our fine arts programs. But for many students, a highlight of their day is when they go into a music room and play an instrument or sing in the choir. And we want to do everything we can to expand those opportunities and to make sure that everybody has a chance to school's about trying something new. And we want kids that said, hey, I never wanted to pick up a musical instrument. We want those kids to try it out. That's what school is about. And Danny's done a great job of getting kids access to try instruments, to try to sing, to just try to be creative, particularly kids that didn't know if that was an interest of theirs. And so I just think that's a wonderful thing. But they just did such a great job, and we were so proud of the work that they've done.
Yeah, wonderful job. And again, I love seeing the musical talents that our students have. And again, sometimes you just don't know if they have it until you put the instrument in front of them, and then it blossoms. Yeah. And so we were able to see that wonderful start to the meeting. There were so many different recognitions and so many different areas, and I want to kind of move a little bit more to the sports side of things. And right after, we talked a little bit about the elementary school's first year when it comes to soccer, and we recognize the Weeksville Bulldogs as the champions for this first season. The importance of not only athletics, but the exercise and giving our students something else to do outside of the classroom. I think all of that comes together, and I'm so happy that we have a soccer program in the elementary school system.
Yeah, that's all so true. And, this year is the first time we've launched this program. We brought back last year one of our legacy programs that had been suspended for a little bit. Our elementary basketball league returned last year. It will be launching again this year, getting ready to move into practice, and that'll launch in January. But we're unique in the sense of we're, to my knowledge, the only public school district in North Carolina that has an elementary athletic league at every elementary school. And so it's just not typical to have athletics in the public school and elementary. It's typical for middle and high school students to have that. But we've brought the program down to elementary because we want to get kids moving at a younger age, but we also want to expose kids to the benefits of teamsmanship. The one of the things that athletics teaches you at a young age is I suppose with the exception of golf, you have to rely on a team to win the game, right. In a couple other sports. But, the idea of I got to work with 8 to 11 to 12 other people to win is a really important lesson for our young people. And also the lesson of humility when you win, and also the lesson of resilience when you lose, because we all experience both of those in life. We want our young people to have a spirit of graciousness and humility when they are on the mountaintop, but when they find themselves in the valley, and they will, we want them to get back up and keep moving. And so I think athletics is a way to foster those characteristics. So we're really excited. Coach Antonio Gomez, EC Elizabeth City Middle School, led our soccer league. He was our soccer league commissioner, athletic director for that, and did just a fantastic job. We had some private groups donate and really help us get started. Incredible things there. And we'll be kicking off our elementary basketball league in just in a couple of weeks. So excited to invite the community to come out to a basketball game at P.W. Moore Gymnasium, where we host those, and some really exciting things coming up.
Chair Cobb, it's beautiful to see the little ones out there on that soccer field, and we talk about sportsmanship, and it starts at a young age. I really think this is a great program to have.
I totally agree. And just to add one more thing to what Dr. Parker has mentioned, for many of these students, this is their first taste of school spirit. And so it creates a culture. It's a beginning culture of being proud of your school. And, to seeing those kids on game days and if they wear their jerseys to school or if they dress for game days. Some schools, they have them dress up in, Sunday clothes or whatever for game days. It starts to foster that pride in the school environment. And so when they get to middle school, they grow on that. And then when they get to high school, hopefully that's already ingrained in the culture of that school building.
Yeah, it's always great to start young. And so I'm so happy to see this in the elementary school system here in the district. The CTE program was also recognized at this meeting, and some people wondering what CTE may be. It's Career and Technical Education. Chair Cobb, I'm going to stay with you for a moment. Speak a little bit about the CTE program, what it means, and how important it is to the district.
The CTE program is paramount in our district. And one of the main reasons that it is every student that leaves our school system as a graduate is not necessarily going to go to a 4-year university. Some of them may go into the military. Some of them may go into a trade. Some of them may go directly into the workforce. And so CTE gives us an opportunity to work with students in their capacity and what they want to do next. And so some of that working opportunity is having classes that are in a certain pathway that support career dreams and goals, or being given the opportunity to go out in the public and do an internship or have some work hours or some shadowing hours. And so we have a team of folks at the district level and then at the school levels that facilitate all of those opportunities so that students can have a chance to see what they might be interested in and go ahead and start focusing on their next steps. And I wish that I had that when I was in high school. I wish I had some, and it was still there, but it wasn't there. I didn't know that much about it. And I know the students now have so much opportunity to just explore options and find out what it is that they want to do, and then even get started on it earlier. We have students that do internships and are offered jobs right out of the gate. And so it's a great opportunity to go ahead and get a jump on planning your future.
Well, Dr. Parpet, it does give people a lot of options. A lot of people think sometimes you have to go to a 4-year university and get your bachelor's degree, but no, there are so many different ways for you to start, especially if you have an idea of what you want to do. Getting that experience early, and the CTE program helps out with that.
It certainly does. And one of the things that's happening right now in our career and technical education program is we're really charting a vision of how we can integrate career and technical education into really integrate and build bridges with CTE to the core curriculum. Mm-hmm. There is an opportunity to engage CTE in the math curriculum, in the English curriculum. And so we want to really work to embed our core graduation requirement courses into the CTE. And the reality is every student should have some exposure to a career and technical education course before they graduate. If they're on a 4-year pathway, if they want to enlist in the military, it really does need to be a foundational part of the middle and high school experience. And for some kids it is, but it's not for every kid right now. And so our goal is to expand that. And we've set a goal that every kid will have an internship before they graduate within the next 5 years. For some kids, that might be walking down the hallway and serving as a administrative assistant in the school's front office. That could be a valuable experience. For some kids, it may be going to the Aviation Logistics Center and doing an internship there, like we have students doing that right now. Mm-hmm. So there's a variation to that, but it should be built into your high school experience, some workplace experience. That should happen for every kid, and we're really at a point where we're doing that. And we brought on board this week, really excited to announce our next career and technical education director, and that's going to be Miss Morgan Murray. And Miss Morgan Murray is actually a graduate of Northeastern High School and came to us earlier this year as our agriculture instructor at Northeastern, and also Morgan served in an advanced teaching role supporting other career and technical teachers. And it's going to be moving into our next CT director role January 4th. In the meantime, we've had Dr. Debbie Hunley-Stooks, who served as an interim director in CT. So we're in the middle of some transitions in CT right now, but Dr. Stooks is really, she was a former CT director in Chesapeake and other things, but has really just laid a solid foundation in the program. And with Morgan coming in the first of the year, we're at a point where we're creating a strategic plan and a vision for career and technical over the next 3 and 5 years. And a part of that is modernizing our programs. We have amazing programs, fire certification, automobile certification, you name it. But all of these industries are evolving right now because of the technological revolution around artificial intelligence. And so we've got to get ahead of that, and we've got to understand that for the automotive class, combustible engines won't be the primary way cars run in the next 20 years. True, yeah. It doesn't mean that we can't learn a lot from a gasoline-powered engine in a shop class, but it also means renewable and alternative energy is going to be a major career opportunity for our students. It won't be carbon-powered emission power sources. And so we got to think about those things and begin to upgrade and modernize our career and technical programs. And that's a part of what our plan is. And I really do know that Morgan's going to help lead us into that next wave of the future for our career and technical programs.
Well, looking ahead is really important. Looks like we have the right people in place to do that. So should be really interesting to see what the future holds for these programs here within the district. You're listening to the ECPPS Podcast. More details about all of this online at ecpps.k12.nc.us. And during the board meeting, there was a spotlight that was placed on the media coordinators. And this one kind of touches me in the heart. The elementary media centers were spotlighted, and they're doing a wonderful job also. Board Chair Cobb, I want you to speak a little bit and what the people are doing within these media centers, especially the elementary media centers.
So the media center is constantly evolving. It's not just what people would envision as just a place to go and check out books anymore. And I think the spotlight really highlighted the different things that our media center coordinators are working with our students. They are, especially at the elementary school level, they're exposing them to all kinds of different technologies. I think they had a couple of demonstrations that had to do with some coding and some little devices that they had that you could begin practicing coding at such an early age. I mean, you're talking first and second graders, because they used like colored blocks as path patterns to make the different paths that they wanted to code for the little machine to go. And I sat there and watched that and thought, as an adult that's been around for a while, I would probably struggle with trying to figure that out. But there are probably some second graders that could go in there and just set it right up and have it go. And so the idea of a library book checkout for the media center is long gone now. It's more of an exploratory space and even a maker space where students have opportunities to create and plan together and collaborate. And so it's nice to be able to recognize the fact that our media centers are evolving to meet the needs of today's students.
Well, I tell you, coding can be a lifelong job. So for people to be able to learn this and the kids in elementary school to start to learn this now is going to be very beneficial as they continue on in life. So happy about what they're doing, especially with the elementary media centers here within the district. A fun time during the board meeting. We're going to move a little bit more toward the athletics, and it was a big year in athletics for Pasquotank County High School, and I was happy to see them get the spotlight also. 6 student athletes were signed letters of intent, and of course a little recognition for head football coach Marcus White for the job that he has done with the Panthers football team. I know the both of you are athletic fans, and so I'll come to you, Dr. Parker, and just talk about not only what Pasquotank has done this year and their athletic program, but just the district and all. It's been a lot of success all the way around.
Yeah, I'm so proud of our high school football teams this year, in addition to our other athletic programs. But I can't say enough about how proud I am of the Pasquotank team. You know, one of the things that is so special about their season, you know, and by the way, they had the most wins this season of any season since the school was created. And I think what's so special about this season has been, this is also the 25th anniversary of the school being built. And so here we are on the 25th anniversary, and then they have a season that highlights, you know, such great success. So I just think that's wonderful, and Coach White has really worked to build structure, teamsmanship, consistency, and that is something that every football program needs to be successful. It's something that Coach Moore has been able to establish at Northeastern, and is a master on that, of how to, you know, instill resilience and consistency and confidence in the players, and that's really something that Coach White has brought to Pasquotank, and I think that's the foundation of any athletic program. And you know, we've got two of the best high school football coaches in this district that we have in this region, and really, you say, in the state. And so I couldn't be more proud of them. And I know as those programs continue to grow, both programs have some really strong young talent that they're developing. But I know over the next 2 to 3 years, as those programs continue to grow, you know, we're going to see some really exciting things come out of those football teams.
Chair Cobb, I'm sure you feel the same way. I know you love your athletics too, and it's been a pretty good year here in the district.
I'm a football girl all the way. Just 2 additional points to make to that. First of all, when I was talking earlier about elementary athletics and instilling culture and school spirit in schools, Antonio Moore has done that. I've seen it firsthand. And one of the things that always sticks out to me is you always know how well Northeastern High School is going to do if they have Thanksgiving morning football practice. And so you if they get to that place in the playoffs, it's a given. People go out there and watch. They know Thanksgiving morning that those kids are going to get out there and not one negativity piece. They go, they practice, they get ready for that next game. And so that's always struck me as something that's just really a special thing. It's a tradition. It's something that continues to keep building. The other thing that struck me about the fact that both teams did so well, and it's so wonderful to see Pasquotank be able to rise to the occasion, have such a great record, especially in such a significant year for the school. But I saw a picture on social media that just really spoke to me and encapsulated the whole vibe. For a long time, Pasquotank and Northeastern have been rivals, and sometimes that rivalry wasn't, you know, the healthiest, but to be able to see it become a healthy and rivalry where you can still want to win, but you still feel okay about who did win. I saw a picture of former Northeastern High School player Travion Freshwater, who went on to play at ECSU. He played for Antonio back in 2018, 19, 2020, that range. And now he's an assistant coach at Pasquotank High School. And there was a picture of Travion and Antonio on the field after the game. And, of course, Northeastern lost that game. And so just seeing the love and the camaraderie of those two and knowing that they were once on the same side, but then they were on different sides, but they could celebrate and still love each other anyway, I think that just kind of encapsulates the whole entire feeling of, we don't have to be better than you. We can encourage you to be good too.
Well, I tell you, to be able to see what Coach White has done at Pasquotank High School with the team finishing 8-4, we've been watching some of those student athletes since they were at Elizabeth City Middle, so we knew he was going to have some talent, but it does take a coach to bring them together, and I think Coach White and Coach Moore, two great examples of wonderful coaches that are right here in our district. We need to celebrate them, and we did so at the Board of Education meeting, so thankful for what this season has been for the student athletes, and looking forward to seeing what the future holds here in athletics in our area. Again, you're listening to the ECPPS Podcast. And we do have a special guest that is here with us, and I'm excited to have him here today. He comes to us from D.C. He's been spending some time up there at Howard University. He's also a graduate of the Elizabeth City Pasquotank Early College. We'd like to welcome Mr. Brandon Moore to the show. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and talking a little bit about your experience here in the district.
It's no problem. I'm honored to be here today.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the early college and how beneficial that was for you and your development, especially to where you are right now.
Well, it definitely did shape me on how I would go to class. The college classes are exactly the same, and it's crazy because I've been taking college classes since my second semester of freshman year. And it's been nonstop after that. I've took summer classes, even built up to now. People didn't really expect what the college classes were going to be at Howard, but it was totally the same for me. So it definitely did shape me in many ways. Definitely shaped my attendance on going to class. It shaped my study. The early college definitely shaped me into what I am today, especially for college. And it didn't matter what college I would go to. Even if I was going to ECSU, it would still be the same far as how the early college helped me.
So talk a little bit about your time at Howard and going into that school. Did you have an idea what your major was going to be? Did you already know what you wanted to do once you got to the university?
Yes, I already know. I knew I wanted to major in biology, and I knew I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. But, college is all about surprises. So, one day I might just change my major, and it's going to be a surprise for everybody. But what I can say is, it's really, ECPPS has shaped me into what I need to be and what I know now, especially to become what I want to be. I don't know what I might be. I might be an astronaut. We never know. Everything changes day by day. But I know I'm living in an answered prayer. So what I would do, I'm going to go to every class I signed up for.
Is your attendance record good? You been going?
We're on the radio, so with that being said, let's switch it to something else. Let's go ahead to the next question.
Yeah, well, you know what, Dr. Parker, you have a very special relationship with Mr. Moore. Talk a little bit about that relationship.
Well, I'm so proud of Brandon, and Brandon graduated from us last year, and Brandon had an opportunity to serve as a student board member last year and represented the early college on the Board of Education, and I had the opportunity to see Brandon grow and mature through the course of the year and really just grow in his confidence in public speaking and being able to network with adults and also to find a deeper awareness of who he is as a person and what he wants to do in the world. And, so I'm so proud of him. And our student board members have been such a huge part of helping us think about as a district what we want to be true for our young people. And I'm so proud of all of them. And Brandon's been able to just really, I think, represent us so well. And last year we had several opportunities that just came our way as a district, and some of that included some travel. So Brandon and our student board members last year, Eric and Ruby, were able to travel to Raleigh and speak on behalf of public education at the North Carolina Public School Forum. They traveled to Greensboro. We did some local things here. And one of the things we really trying to instill in our student board members is this spirit of advocacy, because we want graduates of the public school system to go off into life, enlistment in the military, enrollment, employment, wherever life may take them after they graduate. And we want them to, among many things, we want them to be advocates. We want them to give testimonies of the important, critical value of public education in our communities. Public schools are a place where it brings the community together under one roof. And we don't want to lose that as a country. So one of the things that I've really seen in Brandon is his growth as someone who's able to talk to others about the opportunities he had in a public school and the value of that. So I couldn't be more proud of him.
Brandon, of course, this is the holiday season, and I asked Dr. Parker this question earlier, but the successes, the highs and the lows of life, you go through it, but there are certain people that's always with you. I want to know what you're thankful for this holiday season, whether it's family or anything. What comes to your mind when you think of that?
I'm really extremely thankful for my support system. Everybody that's put time into me, money into me, love into me, everything. The love is so crazy down in DC. I be ready to hop on the train just to come down here. Mm-hmm. But it's all a process. I know what I'm down there for, but it's just my support system. Even with Dr. Parker, I remember, I think the third week of school, I was like, man, I got to talk to Dr. Parker. So I called him. We sat on the phone for like an hour talking about, I don't even know what we were talking about, but it was just the point. Like, I love my support system. Everybody that really encouraged me to go to D.C. Yeah. If it wasn't for them, I don't know what I would do with it, like where I would be.
Yeah. Your time on the board when you were a student, talk about the impact that you felt like you could make and how you could help the board during your time.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, man. The board had me working. The board had us working day to day. So it's just, I don't know. I wanted my time on the board to let other students know it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to be popular. You don't have to be cool. You don't have to hang out with everybody. You don't have to do none of that. What you do have to do is make a living for yourself. You have to make yourself happy. You shouldn't be making nobody else happy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to be selfish. That's what I've also learned in my time, especially on the board and everything else. You have to be selfish, especially when it comes to certain things in life. You shouldn't have to build your opinion on anybody else. Just be you. You don't try to go to nobody else. Don't keep asking everybody else what they want you to do. No. The more you ask, the more, no. You're not going to be happy. Yeah. So I feel like just do what makes you the best you.
Yeah. Wonderful words there, and we are so proud of everything you're doing and everything that you're going to do, Brandon. Thank you so much for coming home and spending some time with us, and looking forward to seeing where everything goes with you in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. The ECPPS Board of Education usually has their regular meetings. It's a little bit different because of the season here. We're going to have a meeting on December 15th. That'll be the regular meeting for December. But just on December 1st, we had an organizational meeting, and Board Chair Cobb, I want to bring you in to talk a little bit about what an organizational meeting, what takes place at these meetings for the listeners who may not know what that means.
Sure. Every year, and this is board policy. It's in board policy, but every year at the beginning of December, there is an organizational meeting that is held that the superintendent is the presiding person over the meeting, and a board chairperson and board vice chairperson are chosen to lead the board for the next until the next December 1st. And this happens yearly. The board nominates a person for the board chair role. And then if there are multiple people nominated, the board votes. And then the chair that is elected steps in and does the same nominating procedure for the vice chair. And that is a yearly occurrence.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so what we have is coming up on December 15th, the next regular meeting, which is on the way. Dr. Parker, anything special that the listeners need to know about, any special upcoming dates aside from December 15th that we need to give to the listeners?
Well, excited about the 15th, the meeting on the 15th. As I was sharing to the listeners earlier, we were going to have some performances from Pasco St. County High School and then J.C. Sawyer with some holiday songs. So excited about that. And then we will be sending everybody on Christmas break on December the 19th. So, it's hard to believe that we are 2.5 weeks away from moving into our holiday break, and the 19th will be an early release day. So we're going to press ahead at a very fast pace, and then we are going to be ready to have a wonderful break that's coming up here very soon. So really excited about those things. And then for our high school students, we will conclude our first semester in January, and that's moving on the week of the 20th, and then we'll start second semester there. So we are pushing toward the midway point in this school year. And so a lot to be thankful for, but then we also got a lot to press hard for. There's work to be done. So excited about that.
Yeah, so if you missed out, family, on any parts of today's show, you want to catch the inaugural show or any parts of this one, just go to the WRVS Podcast Network, and it's also available on our YouTube channel. We want to thank Board Chair Angela Cobb, Superintendent Dr. Keith Parker, and our very special guest, Mr. Brandon Moore. Thank you all for joining us on today's show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Clay. It's been a pleasure.
The ECPPS Podcast is powered by Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools in collaboration with the Elizabeth City State University Department of Radio and Television Services. Recorded and produced at WRVS Studios on the campus of ECSU.